Hello, this is Mad Hatter, and I'm going to show you how to use a new tool that I put together for voiding chunks. This is really useful for either doing a technical test or making a Skyblock map or 4-pillar map or whatever you really want to do with it. So let's get started. First, there's a pack in the description. You install it and attach it to your world like you would normally, and then you get two functions added. The function mover and the function setup. To start with, you run setup, and it puts a whole bunch of scoreboards in your world and tells you some instructions. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, based upon those instructions, I'm going to set up my Z step and X step. This is 62 blocks that you'll be moving, and the reason it's 62 is because I'm loading a structure file that's going to delete chunks of the world, and when I'm loading that structure file, you want to clear the water on both edges. That way you don't have an ocean that kind of still forms. So I'm going to do scoreboard players set, and I'm going to set at myself the X step or the Z step. For this video, I'm just going to set it to 10, and 10 will be 62 times 10 blocks, or 620 blocks. And then I'm going to set my X step to the same, just because. You can set them differently if you want, but for me, that's all I really want. If you want to actually make this a Skyblock world, you need to give yourself a tag of void. And then we need to teleport ourselves to the corner that we actually want to start in. So I'm going to fly up. I'm going to TP at S to 300 by 100 by 300. So now, because this is actually pretty performance intense on my computer, I'm going to actually turn off RTX. And then when you're running this, if your computer is lagging or whatever, you can actually set the scoreboard ticks per jump and slow down the number of times that, or the amount of time that it'll take between jumps. So that'll, like, instead of taking about 1 second to jump, you can change it to 2 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever. But let's get started. So I'm going to go into first person, look down, and I'm going to give myself the tag. Well, first I'm going to look list, and we just have the tag void in all caps, and we're going to add move. Now what it's going to do is move, and then it's going to delete the chunks that I was over top of. It's going to keep doing that. You see some rendering and visual issues, the ghost block sort of things, but when we come back through this, it'll look just fine. So I'm going to probably speed through this world voiding, just so you don't have to watch it all. I do recommend setting your sim distance low and setting your render distance low, but adjusting that once it starts is kind of a mess. So we'll just time lapse through this voiding process and see what happens. Okay, it ran, and you can see right now my game is not in a happy state. There's tons of ghost blocks around and whatever else. Let's relog. Oh, no, just turn away from them and then they go away. So you can see this is now a big void perimeter. You might end up with a few ghost blocks here and there, but when you relog, they will sort themselves out. Let's do that quick. So save and quit. Come back in. See, now I'm in a relatively nice void area. And I have tested, this doesn't delete your hard-coded structure spawn. So if you have like a witch hut or a guardian monument or an ocean monument or any of those sort of things that you really want to have access to in your Skyblock world, this will preserve them, which is kind of nice. When you're chunk loading, I know that seems like something that's weird on Bedrock because generally, let's be honest, Bedrock does better when the file size is small. But if you end up having to chunk load everything, then when you're using some of the strange biome-based behavior packs, if that behavior pack breaks, it won't cause weird world corruptions. Or between updates, if you wanted all of a big square area to be generated, you wouldn't have to worry about weird generation in your normal area. So that's up to you. I don't know if you'd want to use it, but all you have to do is not tag yourself with void. It's kind of interesting to fly around and see what's, along the edge here, how the material distribution is. And definitely you can see how much andesite and diorite is in this update versus previous updates. So way more diorite. Anyway, this is now a spot where you can put your Skyblock world in, play your Skyblock. You can make the world way bigger if you wanted to. It'll just take longer to load. But one of the benefits of doing it this way is the file size stays relatively small. I used to have a Skyblock world I made, and it was in the hundreds upon hundreds of megabytes, and doing it this way will keep the world size nice and neat. I don't have the map deletion version that I used here, but that would even make it smaller if you delete all the maps. So that's where I'm at. You guys can use it however you want. I don't know, maybe you want to make yourself a really crazy Skyblock map. I've done one in the past. It's a lot of fun. So that's all I have for now. This is Hatter, and I'm out. So bye.